Hello and welcome. Episode number 6, Living Room Fight Club. Scott, Dave, back again. Today we're going to be talking about Paddy the Baddy. On the Instagram earlier this week, I done a little post about him, just discussing his potential in the UFC and how far he could possibly go. We're going to brush on that today, but today we're going to be talking about his body fuel drink. Dave, take it from here, sir.
Right, so Body Fuel, the sport drink endorsed by UFC Paddy the Baddy Pimlet, and latest obviously release. It's UK-based nutrition manufacturer, as I'm sure you all know, Applied Nutrition, has officially been launched. Obviously, it's been launched for a few months now, but officially you can buy it in B&M as well for all of you guys who shop at B&M. My thoughts on this, from what I've seen and like the research that I've done, well, it's like a cheaper version of Prime, isn't it? Right? I think he's done it purposely just to make fun of obviously the other two that created Prime drink, right?
Yeah.
Just a purpose. Like I've seen some of his Instagram stories and things like that. Obviously, his tasting, like, oh, this is better, that better. And I think you've done something online recently as well that made Mr. Logan Paul not very happy about. He lied about a few things. I think he's gonna be in a bit of a hot water, but I think he done it for fun. I think he's done it for the reason of that anyone can do it, and I think anyone can succeed with stuff like that. So I think great on him. To be fair.
Yeah, fair play to him. I'm a bigger promoter of this drink than I would be for Prime, as this is more affordable and you can actually get your hands on it.
No, local B&M. So there we go, guys.
That's it. There you go. Already sorted. You don't have to go down to Wacky Wines or whatever and start paying 150 quid a bottle. You can just go to B&M, £1.25, done and dusted. Let's be real. It's probably going to be the same as Prime, if not a little bit less sugar, if not a little bit more sugar.
Yeah,
it's going to be essentially the same thing. I assume it's, Powerade or Gatorade rebottled.
Yeah, kind of, and not being funny. Like they're probably are made in the same factory. Like the Body Fuel and Prime, probably they're literally on the next to each other on the assembly line.
Yeah, literally. Funny, really. yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. But you are right. He probably is just doing it to show that anybody can do it. Get something out there, get a business out there. So fair play to that. Got to respect it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, and him just completely like taking it to the internet. Like he started it. I think he launched it officially ahead of the UFC 282. He wanted obviously to promote it. He obviously made a video. And he actually said, because going back to the whole Logan Paul thing, he did say that Prime Hydration contains a lot of sugar, while his drink doesn't have none. So that is like, for all of us here, controversial, right? Said that on the internet. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. You're basically calling them out to fight, essentially, with the way they're branding Prime at the minute. To openly say it, as open as he did, literally calling out Prime, that's a dangerous game, especially in the eyes of Logan Paul, etc. Because, we know what he's like. He will happily sue him for that.
Yeah, I think he's slowly making way to obviously get there. Because again, not being funny, he did start Prime. Yeah, they're obviously trying to make the biggest thing possible out of that. And recently, they also have signed with Arsenal, so they're like their official drink as well. So any of you Arsenal fans over there, drink your Prime and enjoy.
Mate, it's crazy. They're going to be everywhere. They're in the UFC and Arsenal already. It's only going to get bigger from here.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of NBA teams that are thinking about obviously getting that drink on as well. But yeah, for Arsenal, man, this is like, I know obviously KSI is a huge Arsenal fan from from the day he was little, and he just obviously got Logan Paul with him. But yeah, it's going to be massive. I think we're going to see that in the Premier League now. Seeing a lot of Prime adverts left, right, and centre.
That's it. Yeah. I think it's probably going to become similar to like how Monster is. They're not. Yeah. I know they've got one drink at the minute, but I think eventually they're probably going to end up making different styles of drink. That sort of thing.
That would be quite good actually, because Prime drink is like it's good, but
Hmm.
there might be some other options for other people that they might try. So yeah, you're right. Actually,
Yeah.
seeing different sort of versions of it, that'll be quite nice.
Hmm.
Actually, maybe something more affordable for normal people. Because not everyone is able to spend 150 quid on 6 pack of those prime drinks.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, not everybody can do that. I know some people can, but I certainly won't be. A drink to me should be, I'll pay £2 maximum for a bottle of drink, I'd say.
Yeah,
So,
compared to the
again, Paddy the Baddy, 125.
absolutely, even the color scheme is the same. Man, when you think about it,
Yeah,
it's just like when you look at the bottles compared to two, and I'd be like, holy shit, they literally just went and ripped the whole thing
yeah,
apart. They just made it
yeah.
right. Body fuel, thank you very much.
They just made it different enough, just enough where the lawsuit's a bit funny. They can't really prosecute. I'd imagine it's just that little bit different.
Yeah, yeah, you got to be clever, like nowadays, because
Hmm.
yeah, they can sue you for anything, don't they? Like,
Oh
just
yeah, they'll get you on anything they can.
I've just gone through a little advert that obviously he has put on here that where he launched, and so he says on here, Applied Nutrition is a fast-growing sports and active nutrition company, and in their obviously latest release, Body Fuel offers a source of key electrolytes: sodium, calcium, potassium, chloride, and magnesium. So, guys, it's very healthy and it's got zero sugar, right? In
Hmm.
addition, the athletes and professional sports team will support in Premiership football. Wow, boxing and athletics and basketball and cycling. Holy shit, he's actually going for every single sport possible, just like the other two are.
Jesus. Jesus, I didn't know that. I haven't really seen it anywhere other than my social media.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was going all football teams and basketball teams.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's going crazy. It's going to be like
Mm.
a David versus Goliath kind of fight. I could see that happening in the next couple of months. What
Hmm.
do you think?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Who's going to be quickest to the press? Who's going to get it out quick? This is the thing again with Prime's like supply issues, for example. The fact that Paddy's got it out in shops ready to buy, constantly, that's going to do better for his business straight off the bat. I'd imagine so.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it'll be funny to see like the prime customers waiting for their drinks. Like we've seen it on adverts, we've seen it on social media all across. Like even going back to like Christmas. Oh, one parent bought their kids like a
Hmm.
£1,000 worth of like prime drinks or whatever because they're
Yeah.
waiting for it for so long, right? You just
Hmm.
got to B&M, mate. Get yourself a body fuel. Absolutely exactly the
Yeah.
same, right? It's just
Fucking sorted, mate. Literally no problems whatsoever. Sorted. Now,
uh,
I think that can be a deciding factor. The thing is with Prime and with Prime Logan Paul KSI, they've got such a massive fan base already due to what they've previously done on YouTube, etc. So that's going to be an advantage. But I think with Paddy, because he's got the UFC backing him heavily, they are a massive Paddy fan. I think any endeavor that he goes into, they're going to support him no matter what. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing. So I don't think now Prime's a sponsor, but they might. Paddy's Baddies. I know he's got some California joints, that sort of thing going on.
oh wow.
That yeah, that could potentially be plastered over the UFC's canvas, I'd imagine. But I can't see them with a Prime sponsor also having Body Fuel on the opposite side, if you get me.
Oh, imagine that in a corner. In the left corner, you have a prime corner. On the right hand side, we've got a body fuel corner. In the hydration zone for body fuel
Oh my
and for
god.
prime. Imagine that.
No, I don't want that. Oh, that is not a world I want to be part of.
Jesus, that's just going to be mental.
Jesus.
And again, like going back to obviously Paddy, he is more of a people person. He's more of like just a regular guy, right? Who just wanted to obviously change his body and like get better and maybe go and hit USC. This is what he's done, right? Let's just look at the basics, right? And go in again because you can look at it from both ways. So I'm looking at it from like the normal people kind of side. So like all the normal Karens, Bryans, all the normal peeps will support him, right? Because he's not so. How do I say this? Again, it just goes for like the influence side of things. You can see like very like compare the two, like KSI and Logan Paul, they're very out there, right? You see him
Mhm.
do all this crazy stuff, like
Yeah.
buying all these expensive things, Rolexes, this, that, and everything. Literally
Mhm.
living the life, right? And just be
Yeah.
like, right, we've just launched this massive prime drinks, and then you see
Mhm.
Paddy the Baddy over there on the other corner, just being like, oh, I'm just for the people, I've just launched this drink, it's always going to be
Mhm.
available, this, that, and everything, right? I think that's going to have more of a kick than Prime. Like, I think Prime's going to be losing its customers, like you said earlier.
Mhm. Yeah. They definitely could be. To be honest, out of sheer, price range and availability, I definitely know what one I'd go for if I had the choice. Um, but the thing is, with me and like my thought process on Paddy, I will slate his MMA skills, but this guy can market. He can get people interested in a product, no matter what it is. He's fantastic at marketing. So I think, yeah, he's going to be able to get the majority of people. He's not with KSI and Logan Paul. They've got a niche market, and that is pretty much young kids, young teenagers.
Yeah.
Whereas Paddy, I think, because of the way he can market, I think he could potentially be going for a bigger fan base.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like again, we know with the social media, the influencers kind of vibe, all the young kids are literally, yeah, I love it, Prime, woo, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all this kind of vibe. When you actually say with Paddy the Baddy, we're gonna have like a different kind of clientele on that, which can
Yeah.
go a long way for him, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Social media can only go like so far in social media style, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
But let's just talk about the fighter himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Paddy the Baddy, as we know him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was
Mm-hmm.
born on the 3rd of January 1995, so he is currently 28. So, just talking about his fights, because obviously, do you follow him much? Do you know about, obviously, how many matches he fought and things like that? Or
I know his stint in the UFC. That's all I know. I didn't follow him in Cage Warriors at all. But since he's been in the UFC, I've watched all of his fights.
Okay, so obviously he fought in 23 matches. He won 20 of them and he lost only 3. So, not a
Mm-hmm.
bad shout, really. But then again, and I know we discussed this on previous ones, episodes, he's kind of 28 now, right? So, he's kind of slowly going to that age now where it's a bit, he needs to be
Mm-hmm.
more, in my opinion, more active in terms of like the UFC fights and being out there, right? Like
Yeah.
he needs to like literally just show his
Mm-hmm.
face, show his skills, get better, get more,
Yeah.
aggressive in the ring and things like that, right? For
Mm-hmm.
people to actually, I don't know, have that respect for him as such, because like I
Yeah.
know his record might be not the most prettiest, but yeah, he needs to get out there more. I think. What do you think? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's your opinion about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. One thing about like his record, for example, one thing is different to, let's say, boxing is usually they have absolutely padded records. They're always undefeated for a massive period of time, and that's because
Yeah,
they're not fighting the right people. Luckily, that doesn't happen in MMA, so you will find fighters with losses. It doesn't matter. You'll have champions with losses, etc., etc.
yeah,
However, with his skill set and his lack of fighting currently, I have never seen somebody come into the UFC and fight as little as him, if that makes sense. Because he's making
Mhm.
so much noise. Usually, when they start making so much noise, they will put him in. They'll get him a bit more active. But this isn't the case, and I think it's probably on his part and the UFC part. His skill set, in my opinion, isn't there for the top 10, top 15. If I'm honest, that's my opinion. I don't think he can compete with those guys yet. I don't know. From what I've seen, I don't think he'll be able to. But who am I to say? He could absolutely prove me wrong. But you are right. I think he does need to become more active. All this talking about he's the new hot shit. Let's see that. Let's put it in action. Let's get you tested against a name, and let's see how you really do. I'm fair play to him for marketing himself the way he's done. But I'm an MMA fan. Let's see your MMA skills, because you need a fight. You need to stay active for fans to keep interested and keep respecting you. You can't just sit there having close fights like you were, arguably lost them fights, and then still acting like you're the hot shit. You need to he needs to be humbled. Michael Bisping touched on that as well. He needs to humble himself.
Oh yeah, totally agree with you. I think yeah, he does need to, like you see Connor, right? He'll
Hmm.
he'll talk a lot of smack, but he will then deliver in the ring, right?
Yeah.
You want exactly the same from him. If he's talking all the
Hmm.
smack and he's saying this,
That's
that,
it.
and everything, just show it in the ring, right? Be out
Hmm.
there, have more fights, show us
Yeah.
his like the true skills, right? What
Hmm.
people don't want to see is the stupid fight that's about to happen is, and I do apologize for all the fans out there, Logan Paul versus Paddy the Baddy, right? They're trying to obviously they're currently setting the conditions for the UFC fight and things like that. People do not want to
Hmm.
see this. People want to see, and no disrespect to Logan Paul because I think he came a long way to obviously from being a social media influencer to actually now becoming a boxer or a fighter and
Hmm.
things like that. That takes a lot of dedication, a lot of training. Don't get me wrong. All credit to the guy. I think all the fans, everyone out there who obviously enjoys and loves watching UFC, want to see him actually fight a proper fighter. Yeah,
Hmm.
for him to
Yep.
get the credibility behind, right? Don't you think
Hmm.
like I'm just gonna like get myself in a ring with a proper fighter, get a few more fights under my belt, and then you can worry
Yeah.
about different fights with like
Hmm.
Logan Paul and things, right? Look at McGregor. Right, he fought many fights. He won
Hmm.
most of them. I know his obviously he lost few, but
Hmm.
he did show his skill. He did
Yeah.
show his strength, credibility. He's a good fighter. He talks smack and
Hmm.
he delivers. Right. Then he fought Floyd Mayweather. Right.
Yeah.
For me, that is a good setting in a way because he's done those fights. He showed people who he
Yeah.
is. And then okay, well let's fight Floyd Mayweather. He obviously lost it
Hmm.
because he's not a skilled boxer. He's a UFC fighter. It's slightly a bit different. But
Hmm.
that's more respectable than going to a ring while you sort of like in your prime. You could be fighting someone else
Yeah.
that potentially you can showcase your skills with someone else rather than go let's go against social media influencers. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Nah. Especially this early on in his like massive career. Obviously, he fought in Cage Warriors, but when you're in the UFC, that's when things start to kick off. Really, and I think he's too early to start calling out for these big names. We have not seen you, you know, get. Well, this is the thing. I say he hasn't been tested. He has because he almost lost his last fight. Um, But I want to see him against a ranked UFC fighter. I do not care about him potentially fighting Logan Paul. It makes no sense for that to happen.
Nope.
No one's going to gain. No one's going to gain anything from it. I'm not going to gain it. You're not going to watch, a great spectacle. This is the thing with McGregor and Mayweather. There was that what if chance because you know how skilled McGregor was and you knew how powerful he was. There is a potential that he could have, landed the correct shot on Mayweather. There could have been a potential that his style, gave Mayweather problems. There was an interesting factor in that. With Logan Paul versus Paddy, I'm not being funny. I assume if it's an MMA match, Logan Paul will run right through him. I'm not even going to lie. That's just going off a whim. I don't know the size difference. I'd have to look into the size difference. But just going off from what I believe their height and weight. Weight is another issue anyway. I assume by the looks of things, Logan Paul is going to be a lot heavier than Paddy. So is Paddy just going to get to his fat self and fight him when he's fat?
Yeah, we do not want to see that, but
No.
I don't think. But in terms of what you actually said about Logan Paul, yeah, he is quite a larger person
Mhm.
than obviously Paddy the Baddy. I think he's nearly like 6'4", I think, compared to like Paddy. He's a lot shorter. Obviously, a lot of power behind the punch as well and stuff like that. You can see his build, right, compared to them two. Yeah, I think if it was to go ahead, which it will, I
Yeah.
think Logan Paul might have a good chance of
Mhm.
giving him a run
Giving him some
for.
trouble. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing. I know Logan used to wrestle in high school. I don't know what division he was, but I've seen him wrestle a UFC fighter, Paulo Costa. And he looks like he's got a bit about him. Yeah, I've just had a look. Logan Paul is 6'2".
there you go. So a
So
tall lad,
I'm just
right?
gonna I'll just have a look at Paddy's height. Paddy's height is 178 meters, which is 5'10" in feet.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, in height difference and weight difference, I
And the
don't
reach
see
as well
how.
when you think about it, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
reach.
yeah. Tell me why that would be an interesting fight. It's like an exhibition match.
It is, and it's not like I said to you before. It is not going to give. anyone anything. So
Mhm.
we'll watch it. You're gonna have to probably pay, I don't know, $12.99 per pay-per-view. Watch that. Pay
Whoa,
for it.
whoa, 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 whoa! Hang on a second, sir. If you got Logan Paul in that motherfucker, you think that's paying $12.99? Yeah, times that by 10. That's going to be 120 quid pay per view with them boys on
uh,
it.
hopefully it's not gonna come to that, but you see what I
Nah,
mean?
nah.
Like,
Yeah, definitely. It's it's going to cost you. I'd say it's probably like I say. I'd probably going to say it's like 25 quid. I'd imagine, or maybe 10 to 25 quid. I'd imagine.
for something that's going to potentially last a couple of minutes, right? But
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
again, when you look at it from the hype issue. Like, I would say it's a hype issue as such. It's just hype.
Hmm.
Logan Paul, bloody hell, he's so amazing, yada, yada, yada. He won a couple of fights. It's just going to, that social media is just going to literally just push it so hard with that
Yeah.
fight that they're both going to probably get a nice paycheck out of that, whatever
Hmm.
happens. So if Logan was to lose, he's still going to get a nice paycheck. Same goes
Yeah.
for Paddy. Same
Hmm.
thing. It's literally just
Yeah.
going to, again, to increase their bank balance. That's what
Hmm.
it is. But it's not going to give Paddy, like the baddie, a credibility to be a better
Nah.
fighter. That's what we're
Mm-mm.
aiming at, right?
Yeah, that is what I'd assume his goal would be. I don't know why. Well, I wouldn't entertain it in that position. If my goal was actually to be the best fighter on the planet, I wouldn't be targeting guys that aren't in the UFC.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you claim to be like you want to be the biggest, the baddest, the
Hmm.
best. Show it in the ring with a
Yeah,
ranked UFC fighter, right? I know
that's
he
it.
he also obviously goes around, and helps and supports in terms of mental health. That's
Yeah.
great. We love that. Absolutely fine.
Yep.
Thanks for obviously
Absolutely
making
fantastic.
that a priority,
Yeah,
right, for the
putting
world.
it putting it to light a bit more. There's everybody should do that sort of thing. I'm all for that.
Yeah. But then from the fighter perspective, bloody hell, have a fight that's going to be ranked, that's going to be decent,
Hmm.
that we're all going to enjoy to watch. Show your skills. We keep saying
Yeah,
that. Show your skills. Don't
yeah,
fight a social media influencer. That's
yeah.
that's the end of it, essentially.
That's it. What are you here for? Are you here to just make a name of yourself and become a brand and just make money, or are you here to be the best lightweight on the planet? Do you know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
all I've seen from him is him just marketing himself. And yes, you have to do that. Of course you do if you want to make some money. But his goals are unclear. I don't know whether if he's coming into the UFC genuinely believing he can be the best lightweight on the planet, or if he's just thinking, I'm different. I've got a fucking 1600 peasant haircut. Get some names involved, but what's going to happen? Are you here to be the champion, or are you here to make some money? What is it?
It slightly feels like it's about the second bit. Just make some
Mm-hmm.
money, isn't it? Just
Just
again,
just for
make his bank
just
account
for
a
the
bit
money.
bigger. Yeah.
Because this is the thing, with his last performance that he almost lost, and in most people's opinion, did even lose it. The fact afterwards he's screaming at Dana saying, fight of the night, fight of the night. It wasn't even a very good fight. And he's just screaming, fight of the night. And then when Joe Rogan's interviewing him, he's saying, it wasn't even close. It just rubs everybody the wrong way. You've
Yeah.
got to have some respect for yourself and, be have some self criticism and show us that you understand that wasn't your best performance. If he would have jumped on the mic and said, "Look, I talk a lot of shit. That was not me in the octagon tonight. It was a close fight. So on and so forth. Just own up to what you're doing. You'd have so much more respect from the fans that way. Would still love you and would still support you the way you do. There's no need to just be an arrogant prick and just say, "Oh, it wasn't even close."
I know. Oh, I hate that about him. That's the thing. Like, just
Hmm.
be more like self centered, right? Like, it's not the best or whatever the
Hmm.
situation is. Like,
Yeah.
just admit it. Like you said, yeah,
Hmm.
just admit it. Right, it wasn't one of the best ones. Don't scream and shout left, right, and center. Let's not get this
Yeah.
Conor McGregor vibe in there. You have to show
Hmm.
your skills first, to then obviously be able to do that, right, in a ring, or even before, or whatever the situation is. Like, I think he needs to calm himself down a little bit and just
Yeah.
focus on his training, and actually,
Yeah.
if he wants to become
Hmm.
one of the best, show it
Yeah.
in the ring. Like we said, don't scream and
Yeah.
shout, like, go mental.
Yeah.
So
This is the thing.
I'm
I,
going to give him
I
anything.
do think he. Sorry, carry on.
I said it's not going to give him anything, isn't it? Like I said, the
Mhm.
credibility, like even with this fuel drink that we've just even discussed,
Yeah.
it's like okay, yeah, you've got yourself a drink, you've caused yourself a bit of chaos now because someone else is trying to sue you. Your fighting
Hmm.
skills could be a bit better. Your
Hmm.
fighting record, well, could be a bit better. You could see more fights under there.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
where's his head at? It must be like I said before, bank balance, 100%.
It's got to be because again, by the looks of things from the outside perspective, he does lack discipline. No, well, some obviously fighters put on weight when they're not fighting, obviously, but to the extent that he puts on weight, where he actually does become fat. Like this is the thing, he loses it and he makes the weight. Credit to him. It is tough to make weight, but the fact that every single time after camp he gets fucking hugely fat, that to me lacks discipline. As a fighter, I'm not a fighter, but if I put my mind as in the mind of a fighter, you'd want to stay disciplined. Yeah, you have a treat every now and then when you're not in a fight camp, but you stay disciplined enough so you're ready when the time comes. You don't have to think I've got to cut all this weight and then focus on my training. You want to say I'm ready. I've got a little bit of weight to cut, but I've been training. I've been prepping this whole time. By the looks of things, he only trains when he's in a camp.
Yeah, and for a fighter, for a sports personality, even when you compare him to another sport, you don't see a football player go completely berserk
Hmm.
while they're obviously off season and go eat
Yeah.
pack of donuts, go this, go
Hmm.
that. Obviously, he had a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
stints and stuff like that, but you actually those players they still fit
Yeah.
relatively fit enough. They don't really go
Hmm.
as again Paddy went. When you can see a fucking massive difference. He's literally twice the fucking size when he goes now. Like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a camp,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Literally, he literally gets a double chin. He gets a belly on him. It's actually insane. This is the thing. Fair play to him for cutting the weight because when fight night comes, he looks in fantastic shape. But it can't be good for the body to keep continuously cutting weight like that. You need to
Exactly.
stay at that consistent point.
100%, I agree with you. Especially when I know he's still in his prime, right? Yeah, 28. Yeah, he's not
Hmm.
30. He hasn't hit that mark yet, right? It's still a few more years, right? Fuck me, to actually become so massively huge. Yeah, that's gonna be fucking everything from arteries, your heart. They're fucking gonna
Yeah.
suffer, isn't it? Like
Hmm.
one idea I think for him that is gonna have him like give him a lot of income, a lot of nice businesses. Fucking come up with a fitness plan for everyone else who wants to lose
Yeah.
fucking weight that quickly, mate.
Yeah.
Because obviously his fucking works. You can
Yeah.
see, and you're like, holy
Yeah. That
shit,
is
it's a
true.
different person.
Yeah, yeah, no, fair play. That's a good idea. Actually, hit him up with that. He will expect you to pay him for that suggestion,
That's
though.
the idea.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, cheers for the idea. That's 30 quid. Thanks.
Nice one.
Bloody hell. No, that's a good idea, though. He could definitely make a few pennies off that. He could market it well and say, "Look, in between camp, I get fat as hell, but this is how quickly I lose it." Boom.
Absolutely. Make a 10 video course or something like that. Charge
Mm-hmm.
people 49.99. Give them a
Yep,
fucking
that's
fully
it.
fuel case for free or something like that as they sign up for the membership. Done
Oh
deal.
yes,
Billionaire.
literally.
I think after this podcast is finished, I'm actually going to I'm going to DM him and I'm going to be like, right,
Do it.
look, we've seen what has happened. If you want to make millions, do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boom.
Trust us. We know what we're doing.
Exactly. We're the pros.
Don't worry, Paddy. We've got it all under control. Just give us the money, and we'll do what is necessary.
Absolutely. We're the pros.
That's it. Nah, fair play to him. Again, I slate his fighting skills, but he knows how to market. He's gonna become a brand, I think, because I think his MMA skills are not there. Yet, he will improve. He can, if as long as he stays training, he can only improve. But I think with the lightweight division, it's too deep waters for him. So I think what you're going to see next with him in the UFC is I think you'll see a couple more fights, maybe one or two more fights that he should win, get his name bigger and bigger. Then when eventually his time comes and he faces a ranked opponent and he loses, he will then start to become this brand that you start seeing plastered on the UFC canvas, plastered on fighter wear, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, but by then it's going to be well deserved, right? Because
Hmm.
he He was out there. He fought those fights. He won those fights. Whatever. He showed the people what he's capable of doing. That's well deserved, then, right? To be obviously fucking plastered everywhere in the UFC, right? Because you've fucking done that hard work, and this is the fucking recognition that he will have. You know, he'll have more deals, this, that, and everything. I think this is how he should go about it. Like, you know, don't be lazy, and obviously off season. Get fat, but fucking stay on it, train, get better, get more experience, gain more skills. That's the main bit. Again, like we spoke about, you know, how UFC has evolved, you know, within the last few years, especially, you know, how fighters, you know, fight differently, like the different skill sets, you know, this, again, the stamina, the strength, everything is key. And for him to stay obviously on top and where he wants to be, become one of the greatest again, like he's going to have to put in a lot of hard work.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know, you know, what his mindset is. Obviously, I don't know how far he's going to go, but he's got to put in some serious dedication, some serious, you know, heart, where he doesn't, like you say, get so fat out of training. I think he needs to stay a little bit more disciplined. You know, he has the potential. This is the thing. He has all the talk in the world. He can talk all the game. He's got everything there. He just needs to put it all together and put some fights together. And you know, let us actually see you in there a couple more times. Let's see you fight twice a year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see, man. I'm bored of all the talk.
Exactly. Let's see some actions behind the words, right?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. You know, credit to him, but moral of the story is I want to see some activity.
Yep. And if you listen to this, Paddy the Baddy, mate, if you do fight and if you have some spare tickets, send us our way so we can judge you. That's fine.
Yeah, that will definitely happen after this podcast.
I can't wait, actually. I can DM him my address and just send it over. Absolutely done.
Let's go. I'll challenge him to a fight. I'll challenge him.
Oh, those are...
No, change my mind. He'll fuck me up. But
in his off-season, go for it.
Yeah, in his off-season, when he's, to be fair, then he's got a weight advantage, so that's probably not a good idea then. But, you know, fuck it. Just fight a ranked fighter. How about that?
There we go.
You beat me. You beat me. Fight a ranked fighter.
Yeah, and then he can fight Logan Paul and see how that goes.
That's it. There we go. Episode 6. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week with another great hot topic. But yeah, again, from me and Scott, thank you very much for listening. See you guys later.